Dennis and Marilyn DePue's story is one of betrayal, violence, and a chilling, real-life inspiration for horror. It's a tale that starts with a seemingly normal couple and ends with a nationwide manhunt and a sinister legacy that still lingers today. In fact, the story was so disturbing that it even inspired the opening scene of the 2001 horror film Jeepers Creepers. Stick around to uncover the haunting truth behind this disturbing case. If you love exploring the darkest corners of true crime and the most chilling mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of our stories from history's most sinister tales. Dennis DePue and his wife Marilyn had been married for 18 years, living in Coldwater, Michigan. They had 3 children together, but their marriage was far from perfect. Dennis was described as controlling and manipulative, while Marilyn had finally reached her breaking point and filed for divorce in 1989. She had told friends and family that she feared for her safety, and those close to her believed that Dennis's behavior had become increasingly unstable. The day of the murder. On Easter Sunday, April 15, 1990, Dennis arrived at the family home under the guise of visiting his children. An argument quickly broke out between Dennis and Marilyn over their divorce and the custody of their children. The fight became heated with shouting that could be heard by neighbors. It wasn't the first time their arguments had drawn attention, but this time it would end in tragedy. Dennis, known for his temper, escalated the situation. He became violent, throwing Marilyn down the stairs in front of their children. The children, terrified, watched as their mother lay injured at the bottom of the staircase. Despite her pain, Marilyn tried to reassure them, but the fear in her eyes was unmistakable. The scene was a chilling snapshot of the household's dysfunction. A family that had once appeared whole, now shattered by violence. The crime. Marilyn was injured but conscious. Dennis insisted on taking her to the hospital, telling the children to stay behind. Despite their fears, the children watched as Dennis carried Marilyn, bloodied and injured, to his van. This was the last time they would see her alive. Instead of taking Marilyn to the hospital, Dennis drove her to an abandoned schoolhouse. The location itself was eerie, a crumbling building, long abandoned and hidden away from the world. The walls, stained with age, seemed to close in, a silent witness to the horrors that were about to unfold. The corridors echoed with the sound of his heavy footsteps as he dragged Marilyn inside, each thud a prelude to the tragedy that would soon unfold. Dennis showed no mercy. He shot Marilyn in the back of the head at close range. The force of the bullet shattered her skull, leaving a gruesome scene. Blood splattered against the rusted walls of the schoolhouse, pooling on the dusty floor. The brutality of the act was matched only by Dennis's coldness. There was no hesitation, no sign of remorse. But the horror didn't end with her death. Dennis spent time staging the scene, dragging Marilyn's body across the dirt floor. Her body left a long, dark smear, a grotesque trail leading to where he finally left her. The smell of blood, metal, and decay filled the air. A thick, oppressive atmosphere that seemed to linger even after he was gone. His actions were calculated and methodical, a chilling reminder that this was not a crime of passion, but one of cold, deliberate intent. The disposal. After killing Marilyn, Dennis attempted to cover his tracks. He drove to a remote area and dumped her body, partially covering it with a bloody white sheet. The choice to use the sheet was chilling. It was as if he was trying to erase what he had done while simultaneously acknowledging the horror of his actions. Her body was found in a twisted, unnatural position, the sheet soaked through with dark, dried blood. The investigators who found her described the scene as something out of a nightmare. The lifeless body of a mother, discarded like trash by the man who had once promised to love her. The brutality of the scene would haunt those who discovered it, an image burned into their memories. The witnesses. On the same day, Ray and Marie Thornton were driving along a back road when they noticed Dennis's van parked next to the abandoned schoolhouse. They saw Dennis disposing of the bloody sheet and, feeling uneasy, decided to turn around. As they drove back past the scene, Dennis began following them in his van, leading to a tense and terrifying pursuit down the deserted roads. The Thorntons later recounted that Dennis's behavior was unnerving. He would speed up behind them, then back off, almost as if he was playing a game of cat and mouse. The fear that gripped them was palpable. Every time they looked in the rearview mirror, his van was there, a relentless predator stalking his prey. Their nerves were frayed, every turn of the road a potential trap as they desperately tried to evade him. The discovery. When Marilyn's body was discovered, the community was thrown into shock. The brutality of the crime, coupled with the fact that Dennis was on the run, created a sense of fear and urgency. Law enforcement immediately launched a manhunt, knowing that a dangerous man was still at large. Dennis's van was later found abandoned in Georgia. Inside, authorities discovered a collection of clothing, maps, and disturbing letters he had written. These letters, sent to friends and family, were filled with rambling justifications for his actions. Dennis portrayed himself as the victim, claiming that Marilyn had driven him to the breaking point. His complete lack of accountability only added to the horror of the situation. The letters were not only disturbing, but also revealed a mind unraveling, a man desperate to maintain control, even as his world collapsed around him. The manhunt. For nearly a year, Dennis remained on the run. He moved between states, using various aliases and working odd jobs to avoid detection. Despite being on the FBI's most wanted list, he managed to blend into small communities. His ability to go unnoticed was chilling. He was a man who had murdered his wife and abandoned his children, yet he lived among ordinary people without raising suspicion. During this time, Dennis sent numerous letters to the police and local newspapers. These messages were bizarre and unsettling. He blamed everyone but himself, from Marilyn to the legal system to his own children. The letters provided a glimpse into his fractured mind, showcasing his need for control and his deep-seated anger. His words were filled with venom and self-pity, painting a picture of a man who saw himself as the victim of his own crimes. The capture. Dennis's luck finally ran out in 1991 when his case was featured on the television show Unsolved Mysteries. As fate would have it, Dennis was driving through Texas when the episode aired. A couple recognized him from the broadcast and immediately contacted the police. It was a moment of extraordinary coincidence. Had he been in a different place, he might have remained free much longer. The final moments. When officers attempted to arrest him, Dennis led them on a high-speed chase. The pursuit stretched for miles, with Dennis showing no intention of surrendering. The chase ended on a deserted road surrounded by nothing but silence and the weight of his sins. Rather than face justice, Dennis DePue took his own life with a gunshot to the head. His death was a final act of cowardice, denying the authorities and his own children the chance to see him held accountable for his crimes. The scene was a grim end to a tale of control, violence, and the tragic consequences of unchecked rage. The legacy. The story of Dennis and Marilyn DePue remains a haunting reminder of how domestic violence can escalate into murder. The fact that his crime inspired a scene in a major horror movie only adds to its chilling legacy. The opening of Jeepers Creepers mirrors the events of that fateful day: the suspicious van, the eerie pursuit, and the sense of impending doom. Want to learn about more of the worst crimes in history? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more chilling stories from the Crim Vault.